so to speak. So we have this amazing $100 million plus pool of donor-advised fund capital. And we're going to use it starting literally today and tomorrow and this fall to begin to invest in waves of social ventures, startup, seed stage social ventures, the kinds of people who are here every day at SoCap, and plow what we think are going to be really material amounts of additive capital in a way that these angel investors, these people in this room at this conference can actually really enjoy and make workable, since there's such a there's so many like kind of tectonic issues for it. The bottom line is that it's still impossible to figure out how to get these ventures up on a platform unless you have a partner or a partner structure. So what we did is, there's a number of accelerators and seed venture funds and all these kind of folks who've been at SoCap. They're on the ground, they've got skin in the game, they know what these ventures look like, and if we use them and stand on their shoulders, we can simplify this process greatly. And make a whole dim sum menu available to this $100 million plus client base immediately at some scale. And so we've selected the first two of what will be many. So those of you who are not attached to Village Capital and Hub Ventures who like the ideas of the stuff I'm talking about, never fear, we're at the beginning of an iterative development path that's starting now and will be going on over the next few years to bring the cohorts of these accelerators and seed funders right up into this asset base and allow tiny investments, 2,500, not 25,000. So rather than needing to have millions and millions of dollars, people can have tens of thousands of dollars in their accounts and actually get really broad diversification across a whole range of these folks, and these are great partners for us to launch with. We're really excited. They were both doing breakouts this week, but it's going to be really simple. It's basically our folks can log into their online platform. They've got there's these $100 million in all these little accounts, and they're going to see a dim sum menu of the cohorts that come from Village Capital and Hub Ventures, and eventually a whole kind of range of probably 6 or 8 partners at a time. 20, 30, 40 ventures will be available at any given time, and we'll just keep subscribing little bits of money into them so that we can completely break down these constraints that we've been running with. I'm not going to go through these really, but these are anonymized because we can't actually. These are sort of moderate on live deals that'll be on the platform immediately. But it's just totally global in every sense of the word. International, U.S. people, planet, but all early stage, real ventures with great founders that are getting help locally through accelerators and seed funders, able to take tiny, very small investments from a broad range of 10, 20, 30, 40 of our accounts that are able to be aggregated. And so, whether it's clean tech or poverty alleviation or some kind of community development affair, whether they're raising 250, 100,000, et cetera, well, we'll be able to keep putting them on this platform and actually find out what the crowd is interested in, get real money there in very entrepreneur-friendly ways, and that they don't have to deal with 87 people adding up to $112,000. They can just deal with impact assets as a platform, and we will hand them the $112,000 from the 87 accounts. So that's basically in a nutshell what we've been. Maybe it sounds kind of obvious, or why wouldn't you do that within a donor advised fund? It's like a family foundation. You got your tax break. You set up this account, and if not there, then where would you be into pushing the envelope on this? But this is the first time anything like this has been done within a donor advised fund context to allow people to build totally customized personal portfolios of a range of ventures over time, 10, 20, 30, 40 strong, is pretty much brand new ground, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll come back next year, and I think we'll be able to actually say, like, this is what the first 30, 40 investments. But imagine 5, 10 years from now, 30, 40 becomes 300, 400, hundreds of people, thousands of people over time, tens of millions of dollars, you actually have an amazing petri dish to watch, not to mention the incremental money going to the entrepreneurs, but to really field build around, to understand like what trends are, what impact looks like, what failure rates are, and I think it's good stuff. I wanted to actually invite, I'm gonna just, for a couple minutes, John Goldstein out, who I think a lot of you know, he founded and is a principal at Imprint Capital, but that actually is not why I'm technically inviting him out. So I'm sitting there a few months ago when we were going into R&D and on this, and we're doing a catch up. We were on the phone. I'm sitting in honestly, I was in my pajamas. Sorry, at home, my home office, and I'm like, so blah, 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 all this blah, 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 firm to firm, like here's how we could work together. And then I'm like, oh, let me tell you about this thing that I've been dreaming about and that we're really close to actually starting to think about doing, and I'm desperately looking around for beta testers, clients. And I forgot to mention, we've got like 12 or 15 of our favorite clients like Seth, who've all agreed to put initially over $500,000 just into that platform to start. So we're going to launch Forwards with really good money. And John became part of it because so I'm on the phone with him and I'm like, so John, here's this thing. And he's like, I get it. All right, I'm in. I'm like, oh yeah, right, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't a donor advised fund client of ours at the time.
You had that kind of faith in me.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, fine. I hang up the phone. I get an email in my inbox. And it's like the receipt from his Fidelity donor advised fund. He's like cleaned out, I'm not going to say whatever.
From a nameless national death provider.
Some money, some nameless national brand that doesn't even know how to think about what the heck I'm talking about, much less do it. And it's like he's transferred this chunk of money to become part of this, like right there. And I thought that was like, oh, we're onto something. You know, that's cool. But I just wanted to give you like a couple minutes just to kind of talk about, just from a personal investor, you know, seed stage wannabe. I mean, you're not a wannabe, you're a serious investor. Like, what do you think about this?
Well, John Goldstein, non-wannabe. No, I think, you know, I spend so much of my days soberly, seriously, in a very, you know, constructive, process-oriented manner, making decisions about impact investments. And there are so few opportunities for me to step back from that as a person, as an individual, and do it for myself. And much less to do it in something that's so important and so central and so hard to do as the early stage work. And so when Tim said it, this chance, you know, in my day job, I can't act quickly. I can't act that nimbly. I have processes and organizations. As a person, I can do that. And I think to have something where that was my response, and I think it is fair to say I do have a reasonable basis for comparison of what's out there, and I think it really resonated as the intersection of two really important things. I think number one, as has come up, you know, throughout this whole session and last year and the year before, is the importance of early stage. And how do you do that? How do you give the capital, the capacity to support to the honesties of the future? How do we do that? Because it's hard. Right? It's hard. These are small transactions, sometimes in hard to reach places with new business models, and that's hard. And they're really smart people, you know, like Village Capital, like all these incubators, accelerators trying to do that, and they need more money. And meanwhile, you've got this wave of innovation for donor-advised funds, the money that, by all accounts, should be doing more work, working harder than it is. And this wave of innovation from impact assets to RSF to others to kind of push the envelope of how does that money do what it should do, which is go to social purpose, have an impact, and sort of this intersection of harnessing all this great work done to build the early stage ecosystem, but that needs a lot more money, hint, hint to all of you here, and ways to give more on-ramps to more people to unleash those dollars. And I think it's just such an important next step in it. And I was really excited just to have a chance to be invited to participate in it, and hope other folks will join, and hope that it continues to raise the bar as innovations of all sorts, both on the seed stage and the DAF side, continue to push the boundaries of what's possible. So I think, you know, the gauntlet has been laid out, and we'll see what's next. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Thank you so much. My hero. And yeah, like I said, I mean, it'll probably be about, you know, 20, 30, 40 Johns this fall, just beta testing this, get that first $500,000, $750,000, maybe $1 million in. Then we can open up to our next 600 clients, the 100 million folks, and see what goes in. And then we'll begin to work it, in social media and the press, and invite more people to come on. And really, this is just a jumping off point. Not only will we come back next year and tell you honestly what happened, and it may not be pretty. I'm sorry. You never know. You never know. I know the first 12 folks like that will do it. After that, you try to listen, and then react, and we'll tweak it. There's two things that are going to happen, though, if this goes well next. One is we'll unpack this plumbing, this thrilling infrastructure, as we were saying in this last panel that a lot of people weren't here for, but this idea of really making this both, super well done, but also really fun to do, like breaking down the barriers so that John can be like, I can really support these 10, 12, 15 entrepreneurs that I could never normally do with real investment capital. We'll make this available to other donor-advised funds as tech, meaning we will let them embed, or we'll just steal their clients if they don't learn. I mean, honestly, that's what's going to happen. Just like that. There's the first use case is that unnamed national juggernaut lost that account, and it came to us because this is sexier than anything that they can come up with. So that's cool. But the other thing that's really cool, and I don't know if Jason around? Oh, Jason Rosado from GiveQuick has been helping me think through this. And we're just kind of in the R&D, like, what does this look like? But imagine, heck, with like 1,000, 25, we're going to start with 2,500. We can drop it down lower with the donor-advised funds once we're sure we got the kind of ops worked out. But what if this was in your pocket on your smartphone? And what if it was 25 bucks instead of 2,500, and you could get a tax break, open up a tiny micro donor advised fund, get your tax break day one, put 500 bucks in it, and do like 20, and actually watch them. It's sort of like Kiva, but like real equity investments that would come back. You get your tax break up front, come back to your micro, tiny little thing, and then you could pay it forwards or give it away to your church or your alma mater or your Amnesty International or whatever. And that's the thing, you can't buy a Ferrari with it. We think that's really cool, and Jason's gonna, we're gonna work with Jason and other folks in the kind of crowd online mobile to really make that. I don't know. I'm not gonna promise that next year we come back we'll actually have that demoed for you, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I also wanted to acknowledge that that GiveQuick.com, GiveQuick. Do I have a? I think there was a thing up there. They're in the middle of doing a crowdfunder or an Indiegogo. Sorry, Danae Ringelman. Indiegogo campaign. You're like pretty far along, right?
We're halfway there.
Halfway there, but a lot thanks to some people in this room. And so go check out GiveQuick. But I think that's really exciting, and I encourage you to go check online. And we're really looking forward.